Let's talk about oral hygiene. No, I'm not going to tell you to brush your teeth and floss. You already know those things. What I want to talk about is actually a newer, more recent theory on the origin of cavities. Dental caries is the technical term. This is a theory that's been circulating for about the last 10, 15, maybe 20 years, depending on who you read. But it fits a very pro-metabolic model that we're after. So what is this theory? This theory is that cortisol is actually the driver of cavities. So no, it's not sugar, no, it's not oral hygiene, though those things may matter for dental health. What they're starting to put together is a pretty strong evidence base that cortisol is actually the culprit causing cavities. How does cortisol cause cavities? When we think of it from the standpoint of stress, anytime you're under stress, you're going to see a change in hormonal function. You're going to see an increase in things like adrenaline and cortisol. So if I have a constant influx of cortisol, what will happen is that I will increase my need for certain nutrients. And that will oftentimes lead to a change in the salivary pH, so the pH and acidity of my saliva. It'll also change the ability of my teeth to lay down new minerals. It'll pull minerals from my teeth. So that acidity can actually be a big erosion factor for dental health. And this is something that the evidence is starting to suss out. One of the things that led to this conclusion is the idea and the evidence that children in stressful situations will oftentimes have a higher rate of cavities than children in a non-stressful situation. Okay? So if your childhood adverse events are causing an increase in glucocorticoids, which is the family of hormones that cortisol falls under, if you're seeing an increase in glucocorticoids on an ongoing basis, it's very easy for your dental health to fall to the wayside because short-term survival always trumps longevity. So it's very easy for that to happen and be a side effect of a stressful situation. What's very interesting too is that they've actually even linked this to households where children have parents that fight. So the fighting and the stress in the household can have a huge impact on dental health as well. And this isn't just children that this is showing up in. We've also seen this change in dental health in pregnant women. That's right. Pregnant women, when they're exhibiting higher levels of glucocorticoids, that can actually change dental health in women. Okay? We also see a huge amount of change in the bacteria within your mouth depending on the stress level that you're under. And there are certain bacteria that have been implicated over the years, not just in dental health, but in all sorts of other issues with your health and your body. One of those particular organisms is called P. gingivalis. I can't even pronounce the first word, so I'm not even going to bother. P. gingivalis is a type of bacteria that has been linked to not just dental health and gingivitis, periodontal disease. It's been linked to heart disease, to diabetes, to even neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. So the more abundant this particular bacteria is inside your mouth, the greater the likelihood of you having some of these other underlying health conditions down the road. And all of this comes about from how your mouth is functioning. So the more stress you're under, the greater the likelihood of that bacteria taking hold and proliferating. So how do we lower stress? We have lots of ways to do that. Some of my favorite ways are movement, breathing, and adequate blood sugar. Okay, so movement. Anything that allows you to move through the world and move better and move well gives your brain an option for safety. On a primal level, your brain wants to be able to move away from danger. And if you can't move well, you can't evade danger well. So movement, and skilled movement at that, is tremendously beneficial to your brain, which lowers your stress levels. Breathing can be a big deal for overall cortisol levels. Breathing has an option to increase sympathetic tone, increase your stress response, or decrease your stress response, increase your parasympathetic tone. If you tend to be a mouth breather, or you tend to breathe through your mouth at night, or you tend to exercise and run out of breath very quickly and then you start to huff and puff through your mouth, what ends up happening is you constantly are running up against your sympathetic state. You actually don't want to do that for the long term, especially if glucocorticoids are an area of concern for you. Furthermore, from the standpoint of breathing, nasal breathing tends to generally be more parasympathetic. So that tends to be the preferred breathing pattern for your brain to feel safe and lower sympathetic tone, to lower glucocorticoids. And then from the standpoint of overall lowering glucocorticoids through blood sugar, basically what we want to think about is that there is a overall fear and phobia of sugar. You say sugar in the wrong room and people will look at you like you have two heads, like you just cussed them up one side and down the other, like it's a four-letter word. It's not. It's a biochemical term denoting the structure of the molecule that will provide your cells a carbohydrate fuel source. That's it. So when people get really worked up about, oh, well, sugar from here is okay, but sugar from there isn't, it's still sugar inside your body, regardless of whether it comes from honey or it was handpicked by a blind nun or whatever it might be. Sugar is sugar is sugar. So from the standpoint of keeping your blood sugar stable, we actually want to make sure that you don't go long periods of time without food. We don't want your blood sugar to drop. When your blood sugar drops below a certain point, you will increase your cortisol level. So low blood sugar or high stressful events that increase your need for blood sugar can all lend themselves to creating a state in which dental health suffers. So if you found this interesting, I hope you stick around for more. Subscribe to this channel, check out my newsletter in the description below, and I will see you soon with more videos just like this one. Take care.